Elle est là, la chef.
Well, Ambassador of Thailand to Spain, Ambassador of Spain to Thailand, speakers, friends, participants, good morning to all of you in Spain. Good afternoon to all of you in Thailand. And even we have some participants in Argentina, so I don't know if I should say good night to them. So, well, as president of the Spain ASEAN Association, ASEMPEA, it is a real honor to me to moderate this very important seminar. As you know, the objective of our association is to, well, I have to ask all of you to turn off your microphones. Okay? So, well, as I was saying, the objective of our association is to make stronger ties between Spain and ASEAN countries, Thailand in this case, today, and Spain, of course. And today we are going to clarify the renewable energy picture, the renewable energy sector in Thailand, in this seminar that we have named Thailand-Spain Partnership Towards Green Energy, organized by the Royal Thai Embassy in Spain and with the collaboration of the Ministry of Science and Innovation of Spain and the Center for the Development and Industrial Technology of Spain, and of course, our association, ASEMPEA. I would like to thank all of you, organizers, collaborators, speakers, and also the participants. We will take part in this, the company representatives that will take part in this seminar. For the ones that are in Madrid, as I said, good morning. We are more than 100 persons connected to the seminar, and the seminar will have three parts. The first part will be the opening remarks given by our two ambassadors. Second, we will analyze the investment and partnership opportunities with 7 speakers that will give us some light on the renewable energy in Spain and Thailand. Then we will go to the research and development cooperation with 4 speakers, and we will leave the question and answers for the end. More or less, if everything goes on time, we will end the seminar at 12:15 with the question and answers 12:30. Because we have a good number of speakers, I would like to remind all of you to be strict on time. If not, I will have to cut some of the conferences. So I don't want to take more minutes from your time. So I would like to give the floor to Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Thailand to Spain, Mrs. Pantipa Yamsuda Ekarohit. Please, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Excellency Ambassador Emilio de Miguel Calabria, Ambassador of Spain to Thailand, Mr. Thomas Gonzalez, President of Spain ASEAN Business Association, distinguished panelists and participants. Swadika. Buenos dias to all participants who join us from Spain, and buenas tardes to those who join us live from Thailand. On behalf of the Royal Thai Embassy in Madrid, I have the pleasure to welcome all of you to our seminar entitled Thailand-Spain Partnership Towards Green Energy today. As a reliable partner to the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, as well as the Paris Climate Agreement, the Thai government has recently adopted the Bio-Circular and Green, or BCG, economy model as the path to sustainable economic development, in which green and renewable energy is also regarded as an essential factor to achieve such goals. Our seminar today is my embassy's wish to promote governmental and business partnerships as well as research and development cooperation between Thailand and Spain in the area of renewable energy, which we strongly believe presents a potential area of collaboration between our two countries. This partnership should not only be limited to cooperation at the governmental level, but also partnership between our private sectors. Our ambition is to encourage not only bilateral cooperation in Spain or in Thailand, but also potential joint Thailand-Spain partnerships in third countries where Spanish or Thai companies have strong networks or footholds. For example, using Thailand's networks in Southeast Asia and using Spain's networks in Latin America. This vision for bilateral cooperation between Spain and Thailand in the area of green energy is not the Thai embassy's vision alone, but it has also been concurred and blessed by Her Excellency Ms. Teresa Ribera Rodriguez, the fourth Vice Prime Minister and Minister for Ecological Transition and Demographic Challenge of Spain, whom I had the chance to have a courtesy call on last week. Her Excellency, the Minister shared the same view that to emerge from the current global economic crisis and to mitigate climate change, we need a clean energy revolution by optimizing energy efficiency, forging ahead with renewable energy, and making technology transfer a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe both our government and private sectors have their own strengths in the area of green energy, and there are great still untapped potentials for cooperation between our private sectors if they are ready to venture out of their traditional comfort zones to make new friends, new partners in new regions. Moreover, our two countries share common goals to promote green energy, and our respective governments have supportive investment policies to realize these goals. On this note, I have to congratulate Spain for having successfully lobbied the EU, and finally you have secured your position as a primary beneficiary of the European Union Coronavirus Recovery Fund, of which I heard that you will receive 140 billion euros during the next 6 years, and that you will receive 30% of that budget this year, which I believe that the Spanish coronavirus recovery plan and the fund allocated will definitely profoundly transform the Spanish economy, making it greener, more digital, and more resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, in every crisis, there are opportunities. Despite the disruption caused by the pandemic, Thailand also still remains an attractive investment destination. Several of our Thai energy companies are strong and still venture for expansion and partnerships at home as well as abroad. In order to become a greener economy, Thailand is committed to reducing greenhouse gas emission by 20 to 25% within the year 2030. At the same time, renewable energy target has been set at 30% of total energy consumption by 2036. Thailand currently has installed renewable energy capacity of over 15 GW, contributing roughly a third of the overall power mix. The forecast is to rise to 63 and a 39% share by 2030, potentially positioning the country as one of Southeast Asia's regional leaders for renewable energy. Thus, there are plenty of opportunities that Thailand could offer to our Spanish friends in the renewable energy sector, both in terms of investment, cooperation, as well as research and development, which our speakers from Thai agencies concerned will elaborate to you shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I end my remarks by expressing my deep appreciation to our expert panelists, both from Thailand and Spain, and I wish that all of you will enjoy the content of today's seminar. I do hope to welcome you in Thailand in the near future. Muchas gracias y espero que tengan una jornada provechosa. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Ambassador, Excellency. And now I would like to ask our ambassador to Thailand, Emilio de Miguel. Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Ambassador Yamsuda, dear friends, good morning, Sawadee Krap. I would like to start by thanking the Royal Thai Embassy in Madrid for taking the lead in organizing this activity. My heartfelt thanks as well to the colleagues of SEDETI and CIEMAT, ICEX Trade and ASEMPEA, Spain, for their endorsement and support on the Spanish side of this seminar. This event is just a testimony of how Spain and Thailand are institutionally committed in aligning the research and innovation agendas through collaboration in view of business partnerships and market opportunities across the renewable energy spectrum and the imperative green transition both countries have embarked on. The last year and a half has been a period of deep crisis. We have had the COVID-19 crisis, from which we will eventually go out as vaccination progresses worldwide. Nevertheless, more serious than the pandemic crisis is the climate crisis. The last 5 years have been the warmest ever recorded, and the trend hints that the coming 5 years will be even warmer. The increase in temperature has reached practically 1-2 degrees, and it is obvious we will cross the 1.5 degree threshold established by the Paris Agreement sooner than later. If we reach 2 degrees of increase in the average temperatures, the results will be dramatic and irreversible. The EU wants to seize the present COVID crisis to reflect on the way our socio-economic system is working. The aim is not to go back to the methods and patterns of 2019, but to rebuild our societies and economies better. We need to become more sustainable. In this respect, green energy is key. In December 2019, the EU countries agreed on the European Green Deal, an ambitious plan that wants the EU to become the first group of countries to be carbon neutral by 2050. One of the pillars of the deal is obviously clean energy. Last year, the EU unveiled the strategy for energy system integration as the framework to decarbonize energy production and transition to a green energy model. Spain is aligned with these efforts by the EU. Last May, the Parliament passed the Climate Change and Energy Transition Act, whose targets are even more ambitious than the European ones. The objective is to attain full decarbonization of the economy by 2050. 2050 is far away, but I can tell you where we are now. Renewable energy represents in 2020 44% of the national total. 2020 was the greenest year in Spain since there are national records. Wind and solar photovoltaic accounted for 21.7 and 6.1% of the overall national generation mix. At the end of 2020, the Spanish generation park had 4,000 more megawatts of renewable power, with photovoltaic solar being the technology that has increased its presence the most. Wind energy increased by 5.3%. In 2020, Spain ranked the 8th country in the world by new overall renewable energy installed capacity, and it was the 5th country for new wind installed capacity, only after China, US, Germany, and India. And it was the 8th in solar. It is to be particularly noted the leadership of Spain in solar thermal energy installed capacity. Spain boasts of the art technology and research and development centers in the field of renewable energies. Additionally, large corporations, technological SMEs, and labs are constantly experimenting and developing new technologies or optimizing the existing ones for its effective commercial deployment. In this respect, I can mention grid integration, hybridization, biomass energy valorization, new wind turbine designs, bladeless wind turbines and materials, integration of solar cells into textiles, offshore and marine energies. Spain is in fact one of the countries in Europe leading in submission of patents in solar, thermal, wind and marine energies, as shown by the report Patents and Energy Transition 2020. The government of Spain is committed to the digital and green energy twin transitions. Under the Next Generation EU funds, this commitment will be translated into strategic projects in areas such as green hydrogen, electric mobility, floating offshore, energy storage of smart grids. These projects will reinforce even more the capacities and leadership in renewable energies of large corporations and the rest of agents across the supply chain in Spain. In several occasions, I have had the pleasure of meeting the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Varabut Silpacha. In our conversations, I have understood that we share the same concerns about climate change and the pressing need to adopt renewable energies. We start from a good basis for such a partnership. Since 2015, there has been first level of exchanges between SEDETI and different Thai counterparts. Under the SEDETI TCL's program Joint Innovation Cooperation projects between Spanish companies and Thai organizations are being promoted and funded. Exchange of visits and collaboration between both administrations has been consistently being built up since 2016. All in all, I am delighted to see the good momentum that the research and innovation partnership is going through. And I'm fully convinced that these institutional efforts will pave the way for innovation projects, technology exchanges, and commercial opportunity. The Embassy of Spain in Thailand, along with its sectoral offices for trade, research, and innovation, and in collaboration with the Thai administration, remain committed to this agenda and put their best efforts to keep scaling up research, innovation partnership, and cooperation and business opportunity between both countries. As I wish you a very fruitful seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your words. Now let's go to the first part of the seminar. Who's going to treat a bit about investment and partnership opportunities. It's going to have 4 parts. The first is going to be led by Mr. Luis Lopez. He's going to speak about the Spain's outbound investment policy in renewable energy. The second part is going to give us an idea of the Thailand renewable energy, speaking about policy rules and regulations. I will introduce each one of the speakers in the moment. The third part will be the investment in Thailand. We will learn about the incentives and privileges. And the fourth is going to be the Spain's renewable energy activities. So now Luis Lopez is the Economic and Commercial Counselor and head of the commercial office of Spain in the Spanish Embassy in Bangkok. Luis, cuando quieras.
Thank you, Tomás. Buenos días, ADICAP. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, ambassadors, for your inspiring opening remarks. Very detailed indeed, very inspiring. Well, you know, Thailand and Spain have already celebrated 150 years of our relationship. Still, we have a lot of, I would say, more than 150 opportunities to grow stronger. So I think this is a very fruitful one, a very promising area, and we need to work together towards that. Thank you to the Royal Thai Embassy. Thank you to Asimpea. Thank you to everyone that would speak after me, the real experts on this area. And of course, thank you to the audience. I understand that there are a lot of people, great success, a lot of people connected both from Spain and from Thailand. So welcome to everyone. Indeed, this idea of a partnership is a very the best approach to any doing business together. we are talking about the idea of partnership perhaps for the first time. So my congratulations, but we need to have a lot of work ahead. There is a lot of things to be done because so far we don't know each other enough. So let's work together on this idea of better understanding and better knowledge. So if you allow me, I will give a little bit of an overview of what is the business landscape in both sides of the equation. So first, for the most of the audience, I understand are companies from Spain. So I think I should just address their idea of not everyone knows how relevant, how important Thailand is in terms of renewable energy. For those that are not familiar, I can tell them that Thailand is the most advanced country in Southeast Asia in terms of renewable energy, both in terms of how long they've been there, how many companies they have, or what a percentage and targets. I would not give you data. All the experts coming after me would move on figures and data. Just to know that Thailand is way ahead of the neighbors in terms of renewable energy. They do have the companies, they do have the projects, they do have a lot of the installed capacity and the technology for already, I would say, more than 20 years. So we are talking to, I would say, a regional leader. This is quite important. They do have more ambition, but they already have a good platform, a good basis to start from. I'm sure more details coming after me. So for those that are interested, my first idea is just to offer you that we have in our commercial office, we do have already a market intelligence report. For those that are interested, you can just download it and see who is who in Thailand in renewable power. Indeed, there are many companies of high capacity. I will not mention all of them because some of them are here. Gulf is here, PTT is here, IGAT is here, but there are many others. There is Wind Global Power, there is Raj Group, there is Bunkul, there is Absolute Energy, Big Green, etc., etc. I cannot mention all of them altogether. And the interesting thing is that they do have a portfolio already quite large, not only in Thailand, but also in the countries of the region. So if you mention Laos, you mention Myanmar, you mention Cambodia, you mention Vietnam, all these companies are very strong there. They're leaders in the region. And they expand even further. They move down to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to the Philippines, to Taiwan. Even they do have capacities and projects in a pipeline in Japan, in Australia, even in the US, some of them even in Germany. So we are talking to companies that, coming very strong in the region, are already aspiring to play a global role. So they are a perfect match for companies from Spain. And in terms of technologies, of course, they've been touching on all possible technologies. I would say perhaps the exception would be thermosolar, because they're very strong in PV, both for consumption to the production to the grid, both for self-consumption, for floating, etc., but they are not as strong in thermosolar because the weather conditions and the climate does not allow for thermosolar power there. In wind, they are very strong in onshore, not yet on offshore, but they are looking at it. So there is opportunities there. They are quite strong in biomass, both agricultural-based and waste to energy. They are strong in biogas. We have some bilateral interesting projects. They are looking at all possible technologies. Ambassador has already mentioned some of this technology and further, and other speakers are going to speak further on that. So I would not. I don't know if you are telling me that I'm already short in time. Hope still have a little bit more, because to the Thai participants, I just like to say how strong Spanish companies are in this field. They probably, some of them are already names that capture your attention because they come out in the news, but just to say that Spain is among global leaders. We are fighting with the top world of the renewable energy, and we can be good partners for Thailand, for the region, and for everywhere in the world, for both the development of new energies and for the getting together with the all the projects. When I meet with Thai companies, they typically, I make them this presentation saying how strong these companies are and give them some names, and the answer is always the same. Say, Mr. Lopez, if they are so strong, why they are not in Thailand? Well, that's a good question, and that is our fault. We need to be more in Thailand, but also I would say that you from Thailand need to make an effort to open up a little bit more to them. We understand that Thai government is, of course, helping Thai companies and giving them some preferences and giving them some better access. But we also wish to know that if you are looking for someone that brings you whatever you don't have, Spanish companies are there. So open up a little bit to Spanish companies, and you will win new resources, basically new technology. Financials are not difficult, because we know that for good projects there is always good financing. That's not a problem, but it's just a question of opening up to the market. So both sides know market is challenging, it's difficult. There are many competitors, but we need to play together. And I'm very happy that the embassy and ASEPEA have put together this event, and we hope to have more requests from both sides to match up and see how can we help in putting you together. So my recommendation to both Spanish and Thai companies is strive to know each other better, research a little bit, find out what is in offer, and see how can we work together. And in that effort, I can offer the commercial office. We are there to help. First, I would say with our business intelligence reports, we can help Spanish companies to know better Thai companies, to tell you who is who and who does what and how they work. And we can do the opposite. We can tell you who are the best leaders from Spain, who has more appetite, who can help you more. We've done that already in the past. As I say, we have already some market reports, but we have already done it on a one-to-one basis, and we have put together a number of the companies that are today connected. We have put you in contact, and we are doing these reports. So that's the first offer we can do. Second offer we can make today is that through a series of financial instruments, the Spanish government can help in financing these projects. We have already made a case where Spain has financed the purchase of engines to generate power with biogas. This is our FIEM fund. We do that on a loan basis on very, very concessional terms. We can even finance GVs in terms of equity. And we've done, as I said, we've done last year a first project, and we are ready to do more. We are having full funds to finance more projects and on an innovative basis. And then
Luis, we are getting
okay, let me just mention the last thing is when we are talking renewables, the most renewable energy is the one we don't consume. So to us, energy efficiency is a very, very important aspect. And again, there, Spain has a lot of experience in energy efficiency. Just this year, we have been supporting the Provincial Electricity Authority, the PEA. They are having a project on energy efficiency with the Asian Development Bank. And that is being co-financed on a grant basis by the government of Spain. We have already committed to finance that. So we very much look forward to continue helping Thailand also in energy efficiency. So altogether, we have a lot of work ahead. And I hope this partnership will take shape. and let's just work together. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Luis, and for your words, for your message, and especially for the support you and our ambassador Emilio de Miguel has given to the Spanish companies in these last few years. Thank you very much. Let's go for the second part of this seminar, which is the second part of the first part of this seminar, which is the overview on Thailand's renewable energy. We are going to learn a little bit about the policy, the rules, and the regulations, and we will also learn about some project development and the perspective from Thai major energy companies. The first speaker is going to be Mr. Watcharin Bonjarit, Director of Strategy and Planning Division from the Department of Alternative Energy Development and Efficiency in the Thailand's Ministry of Energy. The second one will be Mr. Warit Techachinda, Manager from PTT PCL. Third one will be Mr. Ravi Karmarohita, Chief of International Business of Gulf Energy Development PCL. And the fourth one will be Dr. Nita Boharon Pipot, Director of the Generation and Transmission. I must apologize for my pronunciation of your family names. I'm very sorry sometimes for not doing accurately. System Planning, Electricity and Generating Authority of Thailand. Mr. Watcharin Bonjarit, the floor is yours.
Afternoon to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure.
And also you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can do.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Watcharin Bonjarit. Today I would like to present the overview on Thailand renewable energy. So I would like to go to the next slide. This is a presentation outline, Thailand energy situation and energy policy in Thailand and renewable energy plan and promotion. Firstly, I would like to show you Thailand energy situation. As you will see from this PowerPoint, Thailand last year we consumed almost 76,000 KTOE of the final energy consumption. 50% from the energy consumption comes from the renewable energy, and another 85% is from fossil fuel energy. This slide shows the portion in each sector that consume the energy. You see that
I don't see the change of the slide. I don't know who should.
okay. Let me check.
No, I can't. It's the one that show it.
Okay, let me share again. Not sure.
Is there any way that we can change the slides from here?
คุณวัชรินทร์ว่าไปว่าไปก่อนก็ได้ค่ะส่วนสไลด์ไม่เป็นไรเดี๋ยวค่อยนัดไปอาจจะพูดไปก่อนเลยค่ะ
Who is sharing the presentation? Is the presentation being shared by him, or is if himself? So, Mr. Bonjarit, it seems that you are the one who should go through the presentation.
Sorry for the so okay, the most energy consumption in transportation sector and industrial sector. Both sector consume 70% of the total consumption in the country. So besides that, come from the fossil fuel.
Mr. Bonjarit, maybe if you push on full view, that will help you to go ahead with the presentation, with the screen, full screen, and then going advanced page. If we cannot do it, no problem. You should do it without the presentation, and then we will share with all the participants. No, Mr. Bonjarit, don't worry. Go ahead with the presentation. We will share your document with all the participants without any doubt.
Okay, thank you. This is the renewable energy portion that we consume in the country. Around 15% come from the renewable energy. You can go to the slide number 6. The renewable energy consumption is come from the electricity like a solar, wind. Another is come from the heat like a biomass, biogas, and biofuel. So I would like to show the energy policy in Thailand through the slide that I show that the policy in the energy policy in Thailand.
We cannot hear you, Mr. Bonjarit. We cannot hear you. So I suggest, Mr. Bonjarit, that we leave it your speech for the last part, trying to recover, and we go ahead with Mr. Warit Techachinda, the manager of PTT PCL. If you don't mind, let's try at the end once again. Thank you, Mr. Bonjarit, for your time. Mr. Warit Techachinda, can you go ahead?
Yes,
with your presentation?
sure, definitely. So let me share the screen. Right. So I hope you all see my screen.
We don't.
No, you don't?
No.
Have you seen my screen now?
No.
We see your face, but we don't see your presentation.
Okay, really? I mean, because I'm sharing the screen already.
Yeah, I think that we see your computer screen now with your emails there.
Okay, but not the presentation?
Not the presentation.
Okay, so let me try again. Has it come online? The presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Está compartiendo pantalla, pero la presentación. Yeah, you are sharing your screen, Mr. Techachinda, but not the presentation. You are sharing the screen, but for other. Then you should go to your presentation, into your screen. You're sharing your email.
Oh, am I? No, it's not me. I'm not even opening my email. So it must be other people sharing the screen.
May be the previous speaker. Can you, Mr. Bonjarit, can you close? Can you leave the sharing your screen?
I think in the chat there is a message that is the screen from Chris.
If Mr. Bonjarit doesn't
Excuse me, let me communicate. คุณบุญยริศครับ รบกวนปิดหรือ stop sharing ได้ไหมครับ ผมนาทีนะฮะ คุณบุญยริศได้ยินผมไหมครับ
Excuse me, I think that one of the participants whose name is Chris is sharing the screen. Would you mind stop sharing it, please, so that our speaker, Mr. Warit, can share it?
All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Now we yeah. Let's go.
Okay. Perfect. Right. So first of all, good morning and good afternoon to His Excellency, Her Excellency, and all distinguished guests. My name is Warit Deshatinda. I'm a representative from PTT Public Company Limited. Would like to present to you about our company and our aspiration, especially regarding the renewable energy business. So a bit of a recap for PTT as a group company. We are the largest business group of Thailand with a market cap of 40 to 60 billion US dollar, depending on when you are estimating the market cap, and also 90 to 100 billion US dollar in revenue. As a national oil company of Thailand has been established for more than 40 years now, and also the state-owned enterprises, which is listed in the Stock Exchange of Thailand and majority owned by the government, by the Ministry of Finance. Primarily, we have been doing the oil and gas and petrochemical businesses. So we have like business from upstream, from the exploration and productions of oil, natural gas, and petrochemicals, to the middle stream, the natural gas pipelines, also the gas and petroleum trading, to the downstream, whether it be like refineries or retails with most gas station in Thailand, and also many petrochemicals complexes, both in Thailand and also in other countries as well. And recently we realized that it's not enough. We need to do more and be more integrated energy company. That's why we have set up the latest flagship companies within PTT Group called TPSC, who is focusing on power generations and are definitely a renewable energy investment as well. And right now we have more than 5 gigawatts of installed capacity, mainly in Thailand, but we're trying to expand overseas as well from the Southeast Asia and onwards. A bit of a recap, an overview on the renewable investment, particularly for solar, wind, and waste to energy. We have around 200 megawatts as of today. When I say today, is because right now we are under like a due diligence and also trying to do like the closing of transactions of further projects, which will increase our numbers of renewable megawatts to much more than this. And as I hope that there will be like news recently, maybe like in this month or on next month, that GPSC, our flagship company, will invest a lot more in renewables. But for now, we have many projects in Thailand, nearly like 100 and something megawatts in many parts of Thailand, from the middle regions to a central region to like eastern and also northeast region, mainly in solar. We also do solar floating as well in Rayong, which is on the eastern part of Thailand. But we are not investing just in Thailand. We have invested, especially for solar, in 2 countries in Asia, namely Taiwan with 55.8 megawatts capacity of solar rooftop, and also 20 odd megawatts in Japan, in Ichinoseki, in Iwate prefectures. That is what we have done. But as I mentioned, we are trying and seeking to invest a lot more, not just in Thailand, but also in other Asian countries. And also our aim is to have at least 8 gigawatt by 2030. So that is a huge aspiration, even for the company as big as PTT's group itself. So we are targeting to invest in India, Vietnam, and further in Taiwan, and also in China as well. And we welcome to partnering with all our companies, whether it be like in Thailand and definitely in Spain as well, who would like to join hand with us and to invest in Thailand and also in these target countries that I've shown here. In addition to what I would say conventional renewables, we have invested in many adjacent technologies, whether it be like energy storage. GPSC had invested quite a long time ago in the startup company based in Boston called 24M Technologies. We have set up the pilot plant, which is going to be operating, and we will launch the first batch of battery from Thailand plant in Rayong with a capacity of 30 megawatt hours per year by this year. And we actually have invested together with our potential partners in China for the battery plant for the EV with the capacity of 1 gigawatt hours, hopefully to be COD by next year. And these on the bottom left is the product that we have had and built by the GPSC team. The battery could be for energy storage application, ESS, and could also be fit to EV as well. So that is the aspiration of PTT Group. And beyond energy storage, we have invested in solar tracking technology. This is the investment in a startup called Sunfolding based in the US, and could be expanded into many potential projects that we are planning to do in Thailand and also in Southeast Asia and all other projects. And finally, we have invested in and developed our own solar floating buoy using our plastic from the group companies and with the name of Sea Float. And have this product has been launched already in Thailand, and we try to scale that up. So these are the related business from in addition to what we have done in the solar, as I presented in the previous slide. And finally, we have realized that it's not just the solar and battery and that stuff. The so-called digital energy will come into play much more in the future, and hopefully in the near future as well. So we have developed many prototypes projects, both like in our own area, whether it be like in BizTech, which is the university funded by PTT Group, and also the EECI in the eastern part of Thailand. We have what we have done there is that we have installed a solar both on a roof, solar rooftop, solar floating, and also solar like ground mounted as well, together with energy storage and also EV chargers, and bundle that all together with the smart energy system. And we have this smart energy platform where it could be all these generation and consumption could be monitored. And also we have done some internal like blockchain-based peer-to-peer energy trading as well in these prototype projects of us. And we hopefully will learn a lot on these prototype projects, and we definitely would like to expand from this prototype to do commercialized projects in the near futures also. So I might just stop there and for the presentation, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tachinda, for your words and for sharing with us this very important information. That is exactly what Mr. Luis Lopez was saying, the importance of the Thai companies doing business in this field. I have received a question that I will, at the end of the meeting, I will be addressing to you. Now it's time to listen to Mr. Ravi Karmaroita, Chief of International Business of the Gulf Energy Development PCL. Mr. Karmaroita, whenever you want.
Hi, thank you, distinguished guests. It's very nice to meet you all, and I'm honored to be here today to describe about our company. I think we can go to the first page, if I may. You can see the presentation.
Yes, we can.
Yes. So I want to be as brief as I can, and just want to explain that in a nutshell. Gulf, it's a Thai utility company. We were established back in 1994 in response to the government's privatization of the supply industry in Thailand, allowing private sectors to be to participate in the generation of electricity and alleviating the burden from the government in investment in this sector. And we have been participating in IPPs and SPP programs in Thailand since 1994. We currently have approximately 14 gigawatt of generating capacity from just over 30 projects, mostly gas. All of them are gas-fired in Thailand. We were listed in the Stock Exchange of Thailand back at the end of 2017, and that's when we started to diversify our business into different sectors. If I may, we can move on to the next page. So in terms of renewable energy, we have been quite active in countries like Vietnam. Currently, our portfolio in renewable energy is approximately 1,000 megawatt with solar farm projects and wind projects in Vietnam. The solar farm projects that we develop ourselves in Vietnam are now under operation, and we are currently constructing our first nearshore wind project. As you can see, as my background, that's our own development that we are currently doing, comprising of approximately up to 310 megawatt of nearshore wind projects divided up into 8 phases. In addition to that, we also have a biomass project in the southern part of Thailand that we develop and has now been in operation, another 25 megawatt, using waste rubber wood as fuel. Other than that, we also bought an offshore wind farm in Germany last year from GIP. The original developer of this wind farm is Ørsted. So we become a 50% partner with Ørsted on this wind farm. And in addition to that, we are also developing a number of rooftop projects, which will also be for our industrial customers in industrial estates in Thailand that coexist with our SPP projects. We have set up a subsidiary company, especially to do that. In addition to the mainstream renewable energy, we also have hydro projects that we are currently developing in Laos. Some of these projects run of river. They are selling power back to Thailand, so cross-border projects. Total capacity would be approximately to almost 3,000 megawatts. And again, we are very, very keen to explore potential development and potential expansion into Europe, as well as other emerging markets with special emphasis in wind, offshore wind, onshore wind, and solar. So we welcome a partnership in this region, as well as if we are able to find appropriate partners that would allow us to co-develop projects with them in Spain or in Europe, we would be very, very happy to support. I guess this is all I have to say. But if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask at any time or after the presentation.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Marovita. It's a pleasure, very inspiring presentation. Once again, very important Thai company in this sector. For all of you that are not familiar, you have the possibility to ask directly to a question in the chat, or even direct to me, to Asempea, so nobody else will share the question. And of course, I will not say the name of the person who asked the question at the end. Now it's time to listen to Dr. Nita Borapompupa, is the director of the Generation and Transmission System Planning of the Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand. Dr. Borapompupa, whenever you want. Doctor, we cannot hear you.
Thank you very much. I'm Nita Borapompupa, Director of the Generation and Transmission System Planning Division from ICAT. Good morning, our audience in Spain, and also good afternoon, our audience in Thailand. So today, I'm very glad to be here with you all, and I will use my 10 minutes from now to talk to you about the next investment of the ICAT in the next 20 years from now. We plan to have the investment about 2,700 million euros from today up to 20 years. This picture shows the plan for investment in next 20 years. I will start with the blue one is the 35% we will spend for the upgrade our grid to have the grid connectivity with the neighboring countries. And next is 9% to make our grid for modern. We call that the grid modernization to serve the new concept of the transmission system. That is the resiliency and also flexibility of the grid to absorb the fluctuation of the renewable energy that will coming to our countries as a green growth strategy of Thailand. And the next is the hydro floating solar hybrid projects. We will spend more than 50% to the hydro floating solar. The hydro floating solar actually is we have the existing hydro power plant in that belong to ICAT, and we will have the solar cell on that installed on the floating base on our reservoir to make that more flexible and more reliable to supply the energy to the system. And last but not least, we will invest in the innovation holding company that will, we have planned to establish that innovation holding company at the end of this year, after we get approval from the government. Let's move to the grid connectivities. Maybe you may heard that about the ASEAN Power Grid. We have the interconnection plan, the interconnection between neighboring countries. For the existing, we have the interconnection between Thai and Lao PDR, Thailand and also Malaysia. And we have planned to have the more power Thailand-Laos power interconnection projects. It's about 3,500 megawatts. And we also have planned to sell electricity from Thailand to Cambodia. We call that the Thailand-Cambodia Power Interconnection Project, approximately 1,500 megawatts. So we also plan to have the Lao-Thai-Myanmar Power Interconnection Projects. We call the LTMM 300 megawatts. For that investment, we will have the 3 new interconnection projects between Thailand, Thai-Cambodia, and also Thai-Myanmar. And we will improve the project, the HVDC link, high voltage direct current transmission system between Thailand and Malaysia. That HVDC link between Thailand, IGAT, to the Malaysia, which is TNB. And we also upgrade to serve the project LTMS PIP project. LTMS PIP stands for the Lao, Thai, Myanmar, and Singapore Power Integration Projects. This year, we continue to negotiation on the contract between Lao, Thai, Malaysia, and Singapore. And we hope that we will finalize the contracts about the LTMS PAP project this year. The next is the grid modernization. To absorb the renewable energy in Thailand, we have to make our grid more flexible. To make that, we have to improve our system by do the power plant flexibility and also grid flexibility. I would draw your attention to the left-hand side. We will have the demand response control center to manage the energy from the renewable energy and also the duck curve. You know that when we have the solar cell, and then from point of view of the system operator, we can see the reduction or during the daytime. So we call that the duck curve of the demand. We will have the demand response control center to serve that. For example, when we have the power from the solar cell, we have to reduce the generation by our own. And if suddenly we have the irrigation or we have a raining, and then if the grid cannot serve or increase the energy to serve the demand, we will use the demand response to manage the load. Not only this, we will invest the digital substation. Previously in Thailand, almost the substation is the, we call that the analog substation. Even inside we have a digital, but now we have the program to replace our old substation that have to make, or we have to make the new one. We will put that on the digital substation. So within the 10 years from now, we believe that most of the substations in Thailand that belong to ECAT will be the digital substations. And the third one is the RE forecast or control center, RE control center. We will establish the RE forecast and control center soon to manage the renewable energy that coming to our grid, and we will manage the green energy by using the RE control center. As we know that the renewable energy, for example, wind energy and solar energy, that mostly uncertainty source, we call that uncertainty source. So if we have the good forecasting system, we can know that the energy before that will come or not, or they will not come to us. And then we can use the RE forecast center, and then we can use the energy management system inside to manage the energy of the from the RE. And to make our generation more flexibility and grid more flexibility, we will have pump and storage hydropower plant, and also energy storage system, battery energy storage system too. When we talk about the storage system, we have planned to have the two kinds of the energy storage. The first is battery energy storage, and the second one is the pumped storage system. So this is in our plan. And we also install the flex device or flexible AC transfer system device to make the grid our to more efficient, and also we will make our power plant more flexible. And next is the
Dr. Vodapom, we've got 1-2 minutes more. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. This picture shows you that the project that I mentioned about the hydro floating solar, we have 9 dams, and then we just first pilot project, we call that Salinton. You may see in the news, and that was success, and that will COD soon. And we have the second project is Ubonrat that in the consideration of the government. After that, you can see the plan if we can get the approval from the government, and then we will install the 2,700 megawatt for the hydro floating solar projects soon. And finally is the joint venture projects. So we just established. Actually, that was in the consideration of the government too. We plan that we will have the innovation company soon. This innovation company will act as the ECAT investment arm. So we will interested in the 20C battery, AI, digital solution provider, battery energy storage system, and you can see in the list, including the EV and charging station too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vodapom for your presentation and for giving us all this information about projects in interconnection, grid modernization, and all. Let's go back, if possible, to Mr. Bunjarit. If we have solved the problem to share the presentation, we can have 4 or 5 minutes before going to the third part of this investment and partnership opportunities. Are you ready, Mr. Bunjarit, or should we leave it for other time?
Yes, I'm ready. Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. Really apologize to you for the problem. So please share my slide, please. This is?
Yes, we are.
Okay, yes, okay. Okay, today I would like to go briefly. I would like to show you the overview on Thailand renewable energy. Next slide, please. Next slide, yes. Next slide, please. Okay, the topic I would like to talk today is Thailand energy situation, the energy policy in Thailand, and renewable energy plan and promotion. Next slide, please. The Thailand and last year we have consumed almost 76,000 of KTOE of the energy consumption. You will see from the slide that the around 15% is come from the renewable energy, and another 85% is come from the energy from fossil fuels. Next slide, please. This is the chart that show what we consume in each sector. You will see that in transportation sector and industry sector, consume almost 70% of the sharing of the energy consumption in the country. Next slide, please. This slide show you the detail that I have told that around 15% of energy consumption come from the renewable energy. The renewable energy can divide into three parts. The renewable energy from electricity like solar power, wind power. Another is come from the heat. It's come from the biomass, biogas, and from the biofuels. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Right now, Thailand have the energy policy that we call 4D and 1E policy. 4D is come from the digitalization that we try to enhance the transmission system to be the smart grid to support the renewable energy. And also, we also apply for the energy storage system in the country. And we try to become the ASEAN Energy Commercial Center. Another D is decarbonization. We try to promote the peer-to-peer power trading by support the electricity on-grid and off-grid system. And we also to promote the community power plant that we can decentralize the power plant into the rural and the public in the country. And another D is come from decarbonization. The decarbonization is we try to reduce the greenhouse gas in the country. That's come from the energy sector. And we try to increase the use of biofuel like palm oil and ethanol, for example. For deregulation, we try to instruct or construct the new regulation to easy to do the renewable energy business more easy in the country, like the sandbox that we try to show the business model of the new renewable energy trading. And the final one is electrification. It's come from the EV utilization in the country and try to promote more EV. Next slide, please. This is the main 4 energy plan in the country. Previous, please. Next, please. Yes, yes. This is the idea that we have the energy plan in the country. We have the 4 major plan from the PDP, energy efficiency plan like EEP, AEDP is come from the alternative energy development plan, and we also had gas plan and oil plan. But right now, Thailand have developing the new national energy plan for the country to promote the EV energy storage, the smart grid in the country, to go to the transition period of the energy, go to the green energy for the country and reduce the greenhouse gas in the future. Next, please. Next, please. Yes, right now I would like to show you briefly the alternative energy development plan or renewable plant. As you may know that Thailand have the energy efficiency, energy development plan like AEDP. In the next 20 years, we try to reach the 30% of renewable energy sharing in the country. But right now we have meet the target around 16% utilization of renewable energy in the country. Next, please. This is the sharing of the renewable energy portfolio in the plan. You will see that the majority is come from the solar energy. Is the most portion from the renewable energy in the plan, and the another renewable is come from wind, the small and big hydropower. From biomass and biogas, and we also have the waste to energy, and also it's come from the solar biomass, and ethanol and biodiesel is come from the bioenergy. This is the target of our plan for renewable energy. Next, please. This is the scheme that we try to promote utilization of renewable energy in the country. You will see that the principal activity under the AEDP 2018, the plan will be in line with the future energy trend, like the increasing of the EV, the utilization of energy storage to support the using of renewable energy. According to the PDP or Power Development Plan, we try to adding a community-based power plant project to decentralize the power plant into the region, and to make the people of the agriculture to have profits to sell the fuels for the power plant. Next, please. This is a way forward that we will do in the future. As I told you that now we have development the new energy national energy plan, but the plan is come from the major those major 5 plans from ADP, PEP, EEP, oil plan, and gas plan. Those plans will be integrated into the new national plan. The plan is majority is to focusing on the carbon neutrality, biocircular green economy, and promote the electric vehicle in the country, and also to promote the energy storage and utilization. We have many initiatives to promote the renewable energy in the country, and I think that the sharing of renewable energy in the future is more than the present one, and we wish that in the future the renewable energy would be the most energy that the Thailand have used in the future. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bonjarit, for the effort in sharing this presentation. It was a good idea that you came at the end, because we didn't want to lose this very important information. For the ones who have asked us about sharing the information, we will gather all the presentations from the speakers, and we'll try to send all to the registered participants in the very short future. Now, we are running out of time, but we need to learn a little bit about the investment incentives and privileges that Spanish company could have if they decide to invest in this sector in Thailand. To learn about that, we will have Ms. Subida Tanyawong, who is the Senior Investment Promotion Officer in the Investment Promotion Division 3, which is the basic and supporting industries in the Board of Investment of Thailand. Ms. Tanyawong, The floor is yours.
Yes. Good morning, Your Excellency. I'm in charge, I'm Suvida from BOI Thailand. I'm in charge of project analysis for investment promotion in public utilities. Today, I will explain about Thailand investment opportunities in renewable energy. The BOI is a government agency which promotes investment in Thailand. If you set up a company in Thailand and invest in activity eligible for promotion, like electricity from renewable energy, we can promote your project by granting incentives, both tax incentives and non-tax incentives. First, we have tax incentives that consist of corporate income tax exemption, import duty exemption on machineries and raw materials. And in some special areas, like low-income provinces, we grant a 50% reduction of the corporate income tax and double deduction for transportation, electricity, and water costs. Also, a 25% deduction of the cost of installation or construction of facilities. Second, we have non-tax incentives like visa and work permit facilitation and permission to own land for foreign investors. Investors will gain activity-based incentive packages. There are minimum privileges you will receive if your project is promoted. Activities eligible for investment promotion are categorized into two groups. Start from A1 to B2. From A1, you will get highest benefit at the top with an 8-year corporate income tax exemption with no cap. To B2, that receive exemptions on import duty on raw materials and non-tax incentives only. Now I'm going to explain about investment promotion on the production of electricity from renewable energy like solar power, wind power, and biomass. BOI has more than 250 activities, which are divided into 8 sections. The production of electricity is under Section 7, which is part of service and public utilities. BOI promotes the production of electricity in 3 categories according to the fuel sources of electricity generation. To generate electricity from renewable energy such as solar or wind energy, the company will receive an 8-year CIT exemption according to the investment size, excluding cost of land and working capital. Maximum benefit will be given to the production of electricity from garbage or RDF as an 8-year CIT exemption with no limit. Addressing here condition that project must be approved by relevant government agencies like obtaining an electricity production license from the Energy Regulatory Commission. You can manage and obtain that license after your project has been approved by the BOI. I have summarized the BOI conditions and criteria for project approval for production of electricity. First, the minimum investment requirement of the project is 1 million baht, or about 26,000 euros, excluding cost of land and working capital. And the important thing is that you must own the assets, which are machineries like solar modules, inverters, and wind turbines, but you can have outsourced the third party to install machineries for your customers. For financial credibility, we check your DE ratio, and it must not exceed 3:1. Next is about the condition of machineries. I suggest investing new machineries for in the electricity generation project. And we would like to see the power purchase agreement with BOI application submission. Finally, no foreign equity restrictions. As I mentioned earlier, that if your project's location is in special area like low-income provinces, you will get additional incentives, including 50% CIT reduction for 5 years. Special areas are 20 provinces with lowest income, southern border provinces, special economic zone in 10 provinces, and the Eastern Economic Corridor. And especially in southern border provinces, your 8-year CAT exemption will be uncapped too. These are our special areas. You can see the list of provinces in each special area. These are details for your information and you can check them later. Besides the production of electricity in renewable energy, BOI also promotes activities about the production of machineries and materials related to renewable energy, like manufacture of solar cells or manufacture of biomass briquettes. However, these are only examples. There are many more activities about the production of machineries and materials related to renewable energy and eligible for promotion. If you decide and interested in getting promotion from BOI, you can submit the BOI application through the online e-investment promotion system on the BOI website. You can find a guideline from user manual there and you can contact our officers for further detail also. Lastly, I'd like to suggest the OS Investment Center. They can connect and introduce you to the representatives of related government agencies for any inquiries you may have in doing your business in Thailand. In fact, OS is on the same floor at the one-stop service center for visa and work permits. BOI staffs work together with officers from Ministry of Labor and Immigration Center to facilitate you for visas and work permits there. Thank you very much for your attention. And you can find more about details on BOI from our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tanya Wong, for your words. Really, the Board of Investment of Thailand has been always a very important stop for all of us, for all the companies. Thank you. For all the companies, Spanish companies going there for investment. It's very efficient, and I fully recommend the one-stop shop in the BOI. Finally, for this first part of the seminar, investment and partnership opportunities, we have Ms. Lucia Dolera, who is the project manager for the Association of Renewable Energies in Spain, APA, Renewables, and she's going to speak about the activities in the sector. Lucia, the floor is yours.
Embassy of Thailand and Assemblea for inviting APA to be part of this interesting seminar. I really congratulate for this initiative. Going ahead, we'll try to be very fast. What is APA Renewables? APA Renewables is the Spanish.
I don't know if we are sharing that screen in the screen, because I am in the screen, so I have nothing to add with my picture. They will do it in a minute.
Maybe you can explain about this, why we are trying to solve this. Well, as I was saying, APA Renewables is the Spanish renewable companies association, and what our main goal is, first of all, defining the interests of the companies and above all as lobby. So we go and those interests of the company we go to government and try.
Lucia, there is, sorry for interrupting you. Somebody said that they cannot hear you.
They cannot
almost
hear me.
Hear you. Now it's okay?
It's okay now?
Yeah.
Better now?
Go ahead.
Well, as I was saying, APA Renewable is the association of the energy renewables companies. Our main goal is to defend the interests of the companies and, of course, lobby. And what we want is that our companies have a good framework, renewable regulatory framework, technical framework to do business. So we are very focus on making our companies make business. Well, and one of the advantages that we have in the association is that we represent all the renewable technologies. So not only PV or solar, but we have self-consumption, biomass, wind, geothermal, mini hydro, and marine also from the sea. Next. And well, another issue that I wanted to point out is that we are almost 400 associated companies, and we cover all the industrial chain. We have manufacturers, developers, installers, distributors, DSOs, traders, all the industry are having in this section in APA. Well, just a quick view that I wanted to show you is which is the Spanish final energy consumption. Well, here is the data from 2019, but in any case, in 2020 is almost the same, maybe a little bit better for the renewables, but in any case, our final energy consumption in Spain is focused mainly in fossil fuel. So this trend has to be changed. And well, we are on the way. We have a strategic energy and climate plan, which the acronym is PENIEC here as in Spanish. That we have a very intensive objectives to get for 2030. As national target, we have to reach 23% of reduction of greenhouse gas emissions compared to what we have in 1990. Almost 40% of improvement of the energy efficiency, and 42% of final energy consumption has to be renewable in 2030. This number goes to the electricity sector. The renewable electricity generation in 2030 have to be reached at 74%. And well, the increase of renewable energy in total, it will be almost 160 gigawatts. So it's going to be shared in the different technologies of renewables. But in any case, you see here in the table that well, for this decade, we have to install 22 gigawatts of new wind, 75 megawatts of 22 gigawatts and 75 megawatts of wind offshore, 30 gigawatts of new PV, thermosolar, 5 gigawatts. Of course, all concerning fossil fuels have to be disappear, and as coal, as gas holding up, of course, and the nuclear, once the time finished, no new nuclear has to be built in Spain. And well, regarding self-consumption for PV, that is not concrete included in the table, but it's included in the global figures of the PV. So also it's going to be very important for the development of renewables in Spain for this new decade. So going fast, but I will focus in two main slides. One is this. This is a picture of what has happened in Spain or in renewables. So we can see in the part of 2005 that, well, not much renewables was installed, above all wind, but we have a very expensive technology of wind and PV, which are let's say, the main technology that are going to be installed in the following years. But in this part, we can see that what we needed is we had expensive technology. We need a supportive regulatory framework, and the capacity installed in those years was because the technology was, well, had a feed-in tariff, so it was supported by the government and by all of us, all the citizens. And then, well, we had this feed-in tariff, and well, with more or less a supportive framework. And then we started, as you can see in the middle of the graph, I say that we are there in a desert path where started to happen not very good things in the regulatory framework, retroactive measures in Spain, all these feed-in tariffs that were established by the BOE, which is the official regulatory place where all the laws come into force, started to change the rules of what it was established. So, well, and no supportative was a moratory set up in 20.
Lucia, they are telling us that if you move and watch to me, they don't listen to you.
Sorry for that. And the video is there. Hello. Well, in any case, in the middle of the graph, as I was saying, we were in a very difficult times for the development of the renewable energies, no supportative regulatory framework. Still, the technology was expensive. And well, what we believe is, but by that time, a lot of reduction inversion in development and research and was developed, and well, in that moment, well, the technology was reducing the cost, but not very much market in Spain. So what happened that in 2017, the government says that we have to comply with the objective of the European Union of 20 reduction of CO2, 20 reduction of energy efficiency, and 20 reduction of renewable, 20 increasement of renewable energy. So they auction was taking place in 2017, and well, in almost 8 gigawatts of new renewable capacity had to be installed before the 1st of January of 2020. So that's why you see in 2019 almost those 8 gigawatts were installed because of the auctions. So more or less, it was 4 gigawatts for PV and 4 gigawatts for wind. And well, PV was almost all these 4 gigawatts installed, and wind a little bit less, because the development of a wind project, it takes more time, and well, it seems that not all those 4 gigawatts were finally installed. And then you can see the roadmap of what almost it's almost 6 gigawatts of new capacity has to be built since 2021 to 2030. It's going to be by auctions, well, above all by auctions, or projects to merchant, etc. So this is a quick view. Well, in more detail, I can go through this, but I just want to see the picture that what we had, and the which is our future or near future for the renewables energy in Spain. And that slide for finishing is like a traffic light, what we have to get, what we are still pending, and what we have to improve. Well, in 2020 was we got the record on energy generation with renewables, and it was the third year that it was the most installed power, more than 4.6 megawatt of new capacity installed in Spain, with 623 megawatts of self-consumption. So it was really a good year, 2020, for the sector, with a lot of support from regulatory framework. So really, we are in a very, very good moment for investment in renewables in Spain. Europe increases the emission of reduction target.
1 more minute. Please.
1 more minute, from 40% to 55%. So it's good that our future is the decarbonization of the economy. Renewable auction, it was celebrated in last January, and we hope that at the end of this year we will have the next auction. Well, there are booming sector: green hydrogen, aerothermal energy, renewable gases, and electric mobility. We are on the way. What things that we have pending? Well, we have to improve the research and development and investment phase for climate control, transport for electrical users. We have an imbalance between the access, connection, permission, and the set power target. We have a lot of megawatts that we want to install in the electrical sector, and not so many capacity to include them. So we have to find the way to control this. Uncertainties about the evolution of the market price, renewable discharge due to congestion, cannibalization of the prices because such an amount of renewable energy, how we are going to deal it here with the market prices and so on. This is a very important point. Well, and this is red lights necessary to incorporate renewable technology with a great capacity to generate employment and wealth, such as biomass in the auctions and an amount of for big plants and also for smaller plants. A search of balance for rationality in national renewable development, distributed versus centralized generation. That now there is a social movement that people that live in the rural areas are not very happy with this such a big plants in rural areas. So let's go how to do it and how to do it well, because the future is without carbonization. And finally, optimization of electrical networks, promote hybridization of technologies, take advantage of supply power for self-consumption, etc. So a lot of promise future and a good framework to invest in Spain. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I a little bit delayed.
You did it great. Well, we are at the end of this first part. I would like to thank to all the speakers first for the interest of the presentations that, as I said, we will share with all the registered participants, and also for being so strict with the time. I am sorry that they cannot have more than 8-10 minutes. So we are, I wouldn't say on time, but almost on time, 10 minutes late. So let's go directly to the second part of this seminar. Now we have received the first part has been. Can you switch off your microphones, please? Can you switch off your microphones, please? Okay. Okay. So as I said, the first part was to give an idea of the partnership opportunities. In this moment, the Thai companies knows more about the Spanish situation in renewable energies, and the Spanish companies knows much more about what's going on in Thailand and in ASEAN. So now we are moving to, as I said, the second part of the seminar, which goes. We are going to learn something about the research and development potential cooperation. We are going to have 3 main parts in this area. The first will give us an idea of the renewable energy in Spain, the R&D in Spain in this sector, which is going to be given by 2 members of CIEMAT, which is our Center for Energy, Environmental and Technological Research in Spain. Second part will be driven by, give us an idea of R&D in Thailand's renewable energy in the sector. We'll have both sides. And then we will finish with a conference to learn about funding for innovation, cooperation, and technology partnership between Spain and Thailand. So the first part, once again, is going to be, I don't know how they will share the 10, 15 minutes that they are going to use. It's going to be given by Jose Maria Sanchez Herbas, Head of Combustion and Gasification Division of CIEMAT, the center I said first, and Maria del Carmen Alonso Garcia, who is a senior scientist in the center, in the CIEMAT. Jose Maria, Maria del Carmen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Okay, great. So good morning, good afternoon, excellencies, ambassadors, speakers, and distinguished audience. First of all, on behalf of CIEMAT, I want to thank the Embassy of Thailand to Spain for the invitation to this webinar and for giving us the opportunity to share with you some of the R&D activities of our institute. Personally, it is a pleasure for me to regain contact with Thai institutions. On 2015 and 2016, I had the great privilege to attend several meetings in Bangkok organized by the Embassy of Thailand and to exchange with Thai companies, research centers, universities, and governmental entities. I'm convinced that this webinar today will be the first of a new series of collaborations with your country. And without further ado, I'm going to present some of our research activities on biomass, and my colleague, Carmen Alonso, will present those related to photovoltaics. But before that, let me say a few words to introduce CIEMAT. CIEMAT in Spanish stands for Research Center for Energy, Environment and Technology. We are a governmental research center. We belong to the Ministry of Science and Innovation, and our duty is to do applied research and technology transfer on energy, environment, and technology. We are located in several places around Spain. Our headquarters is in Madrid, and regarding the activities we are presented today, those activities on biomass and photovoltaics are conducted at two main centers, the one in Madrid and a second one in Soria, 200 kilometers from Madrid, northeast, and the name of the center is CEDER CIEMAT. We are a big center in terms of the number of staff. There are approximately 1,340 of us, half of us with PhD degrees, and we cover more or less the whole research value chain, from basic research to demonstration. We feel more comfortable at, let's say, at intermediate, at being a bridge between university and industry, and that's the reason why most of our research has to do with technology development. We manage a budget approximately of every year of 100 million euros, and approximately 40% of that comes from external financing. And the origin of external funding is from competitive calls in national and international projects, and also projects with companies. We are divided in three main departments, and the two people we are talking today to you belong to the Department of Energy. And as you see on the first row of the chart, we are further subdivided into divisions. We cover most of the energy sources, renewable, solar, but also other sources of energy, such as nuclear fission. Regarding renewable, as you can see, we do research in photovoltaics, energy efficiency, wind, biomass, solar, waste and biomass. And the topics we cover include materials, components, integration, resources, different feedstocks, thermochemical conversion, modeling, fuel cells. And let's move on now to the description of the activities on biomass. At CIEMAT, we are going through an internal process of setting up a strategic plan for the 2021 to 2025 period. That means that we are setting up strategic areas, scientific areas are being defined in order to bring together activities which so far were conducted by different research groups. The goal is to boost synergies and exploit complementarities. And one of those areas is bioenergy, bioproducts, and wastes. What we do is in this area, we want to help the industry to advance and develop innovative and cost-effective solutions that move the production of biofuels, bioproducts, biochemicals, and bioenergy to market. And we do that by means of technological improvements and novel developments and concepts in the full biomass waste value chain. In a nutshell, it is about bioeconomy and biorefineries. It is about bioenergy, both thermal and power. It is about biofuels and bioproducts. But it is also about avoiding to divert waste to dump fields. Basically, the message is don't waste your waste. And we do this in these activities and in this area because they are aligned with the research and innovation strategic agenda set by the Biomass and Bioeconomy Spanish platform, because biomass and waste can contribute to several of the innovation challenges set by Mission Innovation and to the sustainable development goals set by the United Nations, at least in 6 of the 8 shown on the slide. For instance, biomass and waste can contribute to EC2, EC3, EC4, IC6, 7, and 8. And also because now biomass and waste has a lot to do and a lot to say in circular economy, in a change in the paradigm from a fossil economy to bioeconomy, and also in waste management. And what we do this because we believe that we can significantly contribute to the full value chain of biomass on a broad range of TRLs, technology readiness levels. Basically, our activities ranges from TRL 2 to TRL 7. And in this research area, we are organized in 4 main research lines. The first one is sustainable biomass production and supply, which covers activities related to biomass production systems in agriculture and forestry, activities related to biomass and waste characterization, conditioning and standardization, sustainability assessment, and resources assessment, quantification and modeling. Regarding processing, we tackle thermochemical processing, combustion, low emissions and high efficiency combustion of biomass and wastes, gasification for production of advanced biofuels, other primary thermochemical routes such as pyrolysis, liquefaction or reforming, and downstream processing. Downstream processing means all the activities related to convert these primary raw products, let's say syngas or combustion gas, into end uses. So it comprises gas product cleaning, product conditioning, product upgrading, and all those activities related to turn raw materials into end-use products. We also work on biochemical processing, characterization and fractionation, sugar production and fermentation, process integration in biorefineries, and anaerobic digestion for biofuel and bioproducts. And we do a bit on modeling, process modeling and fluid mechanics. We are modeling now green fuels and hydrogen, analyzing flame structures, dynamics, and ignition safety issues. We want to convert current boilers into 100% green fuel boilers and burners for domestic heat production. We do numerical analysis of thermal storage devices and integration into bioenergy systems. And we are also working modeling and developing tools for modeling and the use of biofuels and green hydrogen in industrial gas turbines. Most of our work is experimental. I won't go into the details, but just for you to have an overview of the type of facilities we have. Here you can see some of the experimental facilities and equipment related to sustainable biomass production and supplies, ranging from, we have biomass crop fields, we have equipment for biomass harvesting, logistics and pretreatment, and we have a very well with very good reputation biomass characterization laboratory. In thermochemical processing, we also have a good number of facilities. We are at lab, bench, and small and large pilot plants in both locations, in Madrid and in Soria. You can see them on the slide. And similarly for biochemical processing. And just to give you one example of a project we are conducting right now, which has to do not with biomass, but also with other renewables. This is the project, a project dealing with energy supply through hybrid systems in isolated communities in Cuba. I bring this example because I think it can be easily translated to rural, to isolated areas in Thailand. And the project started in 2015 with a case study. We analyzed the solar resources, solar availability, biomass availability, and with those results, now we are implementing the project. And we are designing and constructing, building a microgrid system which comprises a gasifier, solar PV, wind turbine, batteries for accumulate energy storage, and converter and the control system to change from one source to another. And basically that was all from my side. You have more information if you want to know more about CIMAD in general or to the specific areas of which I've briefly mentioned. You have the links there on the presentation. You will have the links there on the presentation. And that's all I want to spend more time, and I will give the floor to my colleague Carmen Alonso, or back to the chairman to introduce her. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sánchez Derbaz. Muchas gracias. Now is the turn of Dr. María del Carmen Alonso García, also from CIMAD, from the center. María del Carmen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, Your Excellency, distinguished guests. It's an honor to be here to share with you our research and activities in photovoltaic solar energy. To begin, I would like to briefly introduce the context of PV solar energy in Spain. This energy source has shown an increasing trend in Spain since 2007. At present time, the policies are aligned with European ones to decarbonize the economy and to achieve climatic neutrality. The National Integrated Energy and Climate Plan has ambitious objectives for 2030 that implies an increase in renewable energy generation. The final goal is to achieve by 2030 climatic neutrality and 100% renewable energy electricity system. Precisely for PV, the specific target for 2030 is more than 39 gigawatts of installed power. This would imply a continuous increase of installation every year of around 3 gigawatts per year from now to then. With this scenario, photovoltaic solar energy unit has the goal to conduct research and innovation on electricity production with PV solar energy in order to get cost reduction of the systems, to improve their performance and reliability, to increase the circularity and sustainability in order to reduce operation and maintenance costs of the systems and their environmental impact, and to hybridize optimally with other renewable technologies in order to bring higher combined capacity factors and dispatchability. The unit began in 1986, and we have evolved according to the evolution of photovoltaic technology. Currently, we are 23 people, 15 of us are PhD. Some specific objectives in the recent project for the material side are to avoid critical raw materials and deposition techniques that use toxic substances, to decrease the energy in the manufacturing, to use multifunctional materials, and to research in materials for the energy storage. From the more application point of view, from the PV cells, modules, and systems, the development of primary irradiance sensors, the evaluation of soiling in PV performance that has importance in some applications, the solar resource modeling for different applications, also testing special or new module designs, for example, for greenhouses in the concept of agrivoltaics, bifacial modules or modules for building integration, and the circularity of the PV system considering the end-of-life management of PV modules and the reuse of modules and batteries. The unit is divided into several groups. Some of them are more oriented to basic research in PV materials and devices, and the other are more focused on the application of the system, from the PV cells, the module, the components, the analysis of solar radiation, and the PV system itself, considering grid-connected and standalone PV systems, cell consumption, and building integration, and new applications. To achieve this objective, we have testing capabilities for all the value chain of photovoltaic solar energy, from the material to the plant. We have laboratories for the full characterization of PV cells and modules, including commercial, new designs, or prototypes. We can define new testing sequences to analyze the reliability and to do environmental tests. We have also an accredited laboratory for solar irradiance measurement with international traceability. We count of testing facilities for all PV components, including batteries, inverters, regulators, and a laboratory for the consumption and building integration. We also participate in projects in relation to grid-connected and standalone PV plants for professional or commercial applications. We have currently 11 active projects, 8 of them are national, 3 international, and numerous contracts with companies. And I would like also to mention other ongoing activities we perform in collaboration with universities or groups of experts of the ministry. As for example, we have collaborated recently with the Ministry of Ecological Transition and Demographic Challenge in some topics that we think that will be of great importance in a near future. One of them is agrivoltaics, the double use of land for agriculture and photovoltaic, that it implies also promoting rural areas with low population density and emigration to the city, and also the photovoltaic in greenhouses. Another one is floating PV to install photovoltaic on the water with the double use of water. Here, it will imply the calculation of the floating PV potential in Spain, the adaptation of the PV modules for this specific use, to analyze the environmental aspect and to develop pilot plans. And finally, circularity and end of life of PV modules because of the waste stream of PV modules that is foreseen in a near future that will include the concept of recycling and reuse both of PV modules and batteries. The trend nowadays is to apply our experience and testing capabilities in multidisciplinary projects in which experts from different areas are combined to develop innovative research and application of PV, paying special attention to the societal, economic, and environmental impact. And just to show an example of one project, one of this type of project is called the New Renewable Hybrid Technologies. It is a project under the Recovery, Transformation and Resilience plans of the ministry and has the goal to contribute to the decarbonization of the economy through the hybridization of renewable generation systems. This project has some specific objectives. One of them is to identify the national hybridization potential and to develop new innovation concepts for hybrid renewable generation. Here we are developing innovative technology demonstrators. And another specific objective is the implementation of pilot plants. Here we are developing a unique facility for the demonstration of innovative hybrid technologies in Cedar Soria that is called Hybrid Living Lab Cedar. So this is all from my side very fast. Thank you very much for your attention and for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanchez Derbas and Dr. Alonso Garcia, for being so strict with the time and also very interesting things from the point of view of engineers. I really think that you are doing a great job here. Now we have a more clear idea of what's going on in Spain in research and development in this sector. And now we learn a little bit about what's going on in Thailand with the conference of Dr. Sumitra Charro-Rochkul, Director of Energy Innovation Research Group under the National Energy Technology Center. Doctor, the floor is yours. We cannot hear you.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
good morning and good afternoon.
Perfect. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, I think I skipped several pages already. I try to go back to my front page. Wow, sorry. It's gone out of hand. Ah, right, I know. It's gone to automatic mode. Okay, can you see me on full page now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this one, I try to go to the full screen view, but then You might see the two black lines on two sides, right?
It's perfect.
Okay, right. So I would like to introduce to you all about the National Energy Technology Center, or NTEC, but we are very small compared to CIMET, right? Okay. I can't move now. Okay, we are the new organization under NSTDA. We are the fifth research center under NSTDA, and basically NSTDA is under the Ministry of Science. But right now, the Ministry of Science and Technology had already merged with the Ministry of Higher Education. So we are together with the higher education. Actually, NTEC was approved by the Thai cabinet just last year in June, on the 9th of June last year. For the manpower right now, currently we have about 28 PhDs plus MS and BS people. But officially, we were established on the 1st of October last year. So the driving force for the energy solution, we try to focus on impact research, relevance research, visibility, and also excellence to drive the research to the market. We have on the left-hand side, we have networking through 3 platforms. The first one is the Thailand Energy Storage Technology Association. The second one is Hydrogen Thailand. And the third network is through the ASEAN Center for Energy, or ACE, which is mainly on the biofuel. So the pathway for knowledge-based innovation for Thai industry, we work on the raw material and material research for the production, testing, system integration, application, reuse and recycle, and also on the regulation standard and also R&D testing with a policy. We try to be relevant to all the policies to drive energy from the SDG to our 20-year of the Thai national strategy. And also recently, we have been part of the BCG. BCG is short from Bio, Circular and Green Economy, and also to be aligned with the National Economic and Social Plan, which is the 5-year plan. The next plan will be the 13th plan. The vision of NTEC is to be a leading organization and also a focal point for Thailand's energy technology development. So our missions include to conduct research, to create and comprehend knowledge in supporting the Thailand Integrated Energy Blueprint, to generate and transfer the high quality energy technology to our stakeholders. And also we have to work hand in hand with both public and private partners on research and development for energy technologies. And also we would like to integrate major resources from various channels for prompt actions. For our research focus, we actually focus on 5 areas. The first area is renewable energy, that we focus on solar for both PV and thermal, bioenergy, wind, and also for the frontier research, including artificial photosynthesis, perovskite solar cell, hybrid tandem PV, digital PV. For energy storage, we focus on high energy density and low cost of battery. For battery, not just lithium-ion battery, but beyond lithium-ion battery and supercapacitor, and also hydrogen storage and fuel cell. The third focus is on conventional energy, but we haven't forgotten oil and gas and also coal research. The fourth one is on system integration and energy management, that we work with the renewable energy integration, distributed energy system, flexible grid, smart grid, microgrid. and then energy efficiency. I will elaborate more in details later. Right. The next one for renewable energy, this one for the solar PV, starting from the cell production to module production, project development, system installation, O&M, and reuse and recycling. For energy storage, again, we try to perform the cutting edge R&D to meet the global energy storage technology goals and also the efficiency, cost, and also safety, using our domestic and international collaboration with both public and private sectors. And then we transfer the knowledge and know-how on the energy materials and system to support Thai industries throughout the value chain. And also we perform the technical and techno-economic analysis to help private sector and also policymaker on the energy storage system choices. So this one, we work through the value chain from component, cell, module, pack, system until the end of life. And for some pictures here, our recent work on the catamaran, electric catamaran, and also electric bus. For the conventional energy, we work on the catalysis for the clean fuel and also advanced chemical technology for the diesel Euro 5, and also for the biodiesel that we try to help with the policy maker with R&D research to support the policy that right now in Thailand, we have the blending of 10% biodiesel as the base diesel in the country. But also we work on the other oleochemicals to improve the value added for the palm oil. The next focus for the system integration and energy management for the system demand response, efficient operation, and also monitoring. For energy efficiency, this one, we try to improve the efficiency in various sectors from transport, industry, building, household, and also agriculture.
Doctor, 1 more minute, please.
Okay, on this slide is the NTEC partners for both public and private sectors, and also with our foreign stakeholders. Some research on the solar PV that I mentioned earlier, PV modeling for tropical climate regions, second life of the PV modules and the end of life of PV, and some work on the fuel cell and hydrogen that we started since 2001 until now, that we had the demonstration unit of the hydrogen production from ethanol and from biogas that can produce hydrogen at about 20 liters per minute. So that is equivalent to the power of 1 kilowatt with a SOFC. And also we are recently interested in the solar thermochemical hydrogen as well, that we have a plan. And this is from our lab for the hybrid copper cycle. And then some activities through the Thailand Energy Storage Technology Association just happened last 2 hours ago. And also some activities with the Hydrogen Thailand Club. Right, if you have any queries that you want to contact, you can contact me directly as the information listed here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sumitra Charorojkul, for this very interesting information. Now we have the other part. I mean, we listen to the R&D in this sector in Spain. We know more about the situation of the sector in Thailand. There is a lot of potential cooperation as far as we have seen there, and maybe we can have some information on how to fund that potential cooperation through the minutes that we are going to share with Mr. Adrian Gutierrez, who is the Science and Technology Counselor and is in this moment the Chief Representative of FEDETI for India, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. Adrian, the floor is yours. I cannot.
Well, no, this one? No? Yeah.
Yep.
Her Excellency Yamsuda, Ambassador De Miguel, Chair, co-panelists, audience in Spain and Thailand, good morning, good evening there in Thailand. On behalf of CDTI, Ministry of Science and Innovation, my heartfelt thanks to the Royal Thai Embassy in Spain for inviting us to be part of this partnership between Spain and Thailand towards green energy and green economy. CDTI is glad to join forces in bringing closer together SDI stakeholders from R&D, public funding agencies to academicians to corporates, either large corporates or tech SMEs, and coming closer together in the field of renewable energies and overall in research and innovation partnership. I'm Adrian Gutierrez, and well, I'm part of the overseas network of the Ministry of Science and Innovation Spain as CDTI representative to India, South and Southeast Asia. I'm based at the Embassy of Spain in New Delhi, where our regional office is hosted. To start with my presentation quickly, well, I'll just run you through the scheme that we will follow. First, I will share a few notes on what is the role that science and innovation play in Spain. Then I'll particularly make a reference to what's the stand that Spain has in the field of renewable energies when you look at technology and research. Then I'll briefly run you through what have been the engagements so far between Spain and Thailand in the field of research and innovation. And last but not least, and I think that could be the information which is more relevant to this forum, is the R&D funding programs, opportunities, and initiatives that are there on which you could leverage to take forward your research exchanges between Spain and Thailand, your innovation cooperation projects, demonstration projects, or technical exchanges. And basically there we have bilateral and multilateral programs you could leverage on. Basically, we have Spain-Thailand bilateral initiatives, but also we have the EU Horizon Europe program, which is the largest competitive R&D funding program internationally available. And then we have some other schemes that we also run at national level. So quickly, just to position Spain in the field of science and technology, well, research and innovation play a significant role in Spain. Maybe that's not so well known abroad, but I'll share a few details so that you can position Spain in this field. Basically, Spain ranks 12th internationally and 4th in the European Union by scientific production, contributing in 3.2% to world scientific output. But it's not only about quantity, it's also about quality and impact of our research. Actually, 70% of scientific papers in Spain, produced in Spain, are amongst the most cited in the world as per the 2019 reports, at the same level as Germany or France. The research disciplines where Spanish researchers have more impact are chemical engineering, chemistry, immunology, microbiology, and environmental sciences. So a good number of those areas actually relate to the topic of the workshop. But it's not only about scientific production, it's also about the success that Spanish entities get in the Horizon 2020 program. As I mentioned, it's EU's largest R&D funding program. And basically Spanish institutions rank there, make of Spain rank there the 4th largest recipient of EU funding, only after Germany, UK, and France. And something which is even more praiseworthy is that Spain ranks the 1st in terms of consortia leadership. These usually are very big consortia with a lot of EU partners involved, and Spain normally takes the lead in many, many occasions. And not only about the return in Horizon 2020, but also Spain is equipped with latest science infrastructures, which are crucial for the advancement of experimental science and the technology development of the country. And I have just shared there with you a few photographs, such as the optical telescope of La Palma, the supercomputer Mare Nostrum, or the 3rd light generation synchrotron ABA. But now, going to the particular stand of Spain in the field of renewable energies, well, as the co-panelists have shared, Spain is highly committed to the green transition agenda, but like what is really relevant and important, and what I really want to put across over here is that Spanish institutions, not only centers or universities, but also the private sector, is deeply involved in research, development, and commercial deployment of technologies and supporting infrastructure. There are leading R&D centers in Spain, such as ZIMAT, that has been present with us here at this session, ZENER, Centro Nacional del Hidrógeno, for hydrogen, IMD Energia, and many, many, many more. But we also have leading infrastructure. And a good example is, for instance, the solar platform of Almeria, which is part of ZIMAD as well, as it is considered EU's largest CSP pilot and demonstration plant. Or, for instance, Procan, which is also a research infrastructure located in Gran Canaria, which is like experimenting and developing, and it's like a living lab, so to say, for maritime and marine technologies and energies. But as I mentioned, the private sector also has an active involvement in developing and demonstrating and more importantly, commercially deploying these new technologies in Spain and abroad. And just to name a few, and here I've basically retrieved information from our system, basically projects where CDTI funding has been involved in some way or the other. For instance, I would like to highlight the first floating solar PV plant connected to grid developed by Acciona in Sierra Brava, which has partially been funded by CDTI, or the public demonstration R&D biorefinery, part of the CLAMP project, which was been put in place by the government, the regional government of Castilla-La Mancha in Puerto Llano. But also, when I have looked at the more recent data and projects that have been supported recently by CDTI, under the missions program. The missions program is a recent initiative launched by the Ministry of Science and Innovation, promoting the strategic development of tech capacities of industries as a whole in certain technology vectors which are relevant to the economy. So we have, for instance, 2 consortia involving more than 8 organizations, companies, mostly on both sides, that are trying to position our industries in the development of new technologies for a new wind offshore plant generation, storage and distribution, or green hydrogen. And these are just some examples of the projects. Well, going quickly through the research and innovation engagements between Spain and Thailand, well, basically, our first round of contact started between 2015 to 2018. A couple of visits were done over there. We had meetings with the relevant public R&D agencies in Thailand, SDI Office, NASA, T-Cells, ARDA, NIA, and also the R&D performing organizations, basically the NASDA centers, the TISTER, the universities, and more important, the Thai conglomerates, because the Thai conglomerates are the ones that are really pursuing R&D within their own organizations, and also by acquiring innovative startups and SMEs. So basically, we had meetings with the Meatball Group, the SCG Group, to understand what are their technology needs, and based on those technology needs, try to articulate collaboration, tech collaboration projects and partnerships that later on we can co-fund, or maybe we can fund support unilaterally through CDTI. And also to understand what was the interest of the Spanish industry in the region, we had meetings with some of the companies that were active there and which could have a technological or industrial profile. Well, we had one of the turning points was in 2016 when we organized a 10-member tech-focused delegation from Spain to Thailand in clean technologies. ZMAT was part, Zener was part as well, and we had a good number of industries coming along. It was led by the Director General CDTI, and we organized a joint networking session. I think it was at Chamchuri Square, along with MOFRA, with NASDA and STI office, where STI's office is. Well, we signed an MOU with an organization to promote bilateral cooperation in the field of health and life sciences. We exchanged technical visits in the field of health of life sciences again. T-Cells organized a couple of delegations to Spain as well. We participated in several events, and we continue our exchanges and collaboration with the Royal Thai Embassy in Spain and with some other organizations from the Thai administration in order to create this kind of networking platforms whereby researchers and industries get together and understand what could be the common areas of interest for tech alliances or innovation partnerships. And now going on to the funding, well, there are 3 different tracks you could basically leverage on to promote research and innovation collaborations between Spain and Thailand. You have a bilateral program, but that is not relevant to this forum because it's particularly for the field of health and life sciences. We already have a project ongoing between Spain and Thailand in the field of antimicrobial resistance, which has been retained and co-funded both by the government of Spain and the government of Thailand. We have a program of our own, which is to support financially companies interested in working hand in hand with academicians or with industries from Thailand. And there's some multilateral schemes such as Horizon Europe and the Europe Southeast Asia Joint Funding Scheme. The bilateral program, I won't go into detail because it's not relevant to this forum. as part of our health collaboration with Thailand, we're currently discussing with TESOLs how to put in place a strategic partnership between Spain and Thailand in the field of natural products, but I won't go into the details because it's not really of interest to this forum. The multilateral scheme, maybe it could have some sort of indirect application. This is basically, let's say, a virtual platform of R&D funding agencies from Southeast Asia and from Europe. Spain is participating through CDTI and Thailand is participating through NASDA and through PMU. And basically, we regularly launch calls for proposals where we invite multilateral projects. Here, the project should involve at least either 2 organizations from Europe and 1 organization from Southeast Asia, or vice versa, 1 organization from Europe and 2 from Southeast Asia. And we have currently a call open for the following topics: sustainable food production and climate change, resilience and adaptation. And well, this deadline for submissions is 15th October 2021. And basically, well, if you're looking for partners in Spain or in Thailand, we're there to help you out. And multilateral collaboration, important is Horizon Europe. Important thing is that Thailand is not, obviously, it's not a member state of the European Union, but it's not also an associated country, but it's an international partner country to the program. So basically, Thailand, as per the regulations of the European Commission, is eligible for automatic funding from the budget of the European Commission if they participate or get involved in consortia led by the EU and that are considered technically eligible. So that's what we try to also convey to our main actors here, really working under Horizon Europe, that Horizon Europe is indeed an option to work hand in hand with Thailand. Actually, new calls will be launched soon, or have been launched, or in the process of being launched. And some of the focus areas are health, especially for Southeast Asia, AI, health, infectious diseases, health and climate change, civil security for society, digital industry space, and climate, energy, and transport. And there's going to be an event. I would like to draw your attention to this because there's going to be an event from 20th to 22nd of July, organized by the European Commission. And this is actually the official launch of Horizon Europe and ASEAN. And basically, there'll be also a partnering kind of brokerage event associated to the official launch. And there you would be able to contact partners from Thailand or from other countries of ASEAN. You could like explore taking your collaborations or conversations forward. And this is the information on the event. And the unilateral program, as I mentioned, that's not bilateral, that's not multilateral. It's an own scheme of CDTI whereby we can support Spanish companies that are, I don't know, maybe collaborating with Thai entities in industrial research, experimental development, or innovation cooperation. Basically, we fund from TRL3 to TRL7, but when we look at the projects that are being done in collaboration with Southeast Asia, mostly we would be talking about later mature TRLs between 5 to 7, I would say. And we have already another ongoing project between Spain and Thailand in the area of biopesticides made out of fungi, which are, you know, like from the region of Thailand, from the north of Thailand. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrian, for sharing with us all this information. There's a lot of information there that I'm sure that we have taken note of many potential interesting things. Well, now we are done with the seminars, with the seminar itself. Now we have a more clear idea of, from one side, the let's say entrepreneurial side of the sector of renewable energies. We have also an idea of what's going on in research and development, and even how we could fund that potential collaboration. We have some minutes for questions and answers. I have received a couple of them, but of course we are still open. Just to go with them, I would like to they were addressed to the Thai companies, private companies. I suppose PTT, PCL, and Gulf Energy Development, PCL. The question is, I suppose for both of them, are you open to joint ventures with Spanish companies in third markets or even in Thailand? That's the first question. And the second is, if you have, for some of these projects, centralized purchase departments, on how you deal with the supply for those projects. If Mr. Taichachinda or Mr. Karma Rohita could answer, we would appreciate that.
Sure. So let me go first. Warit from PTT here. So I think the short answer is yes. We are open to partnering with Spanish companies for both like JVs and do like M&A together. So that is very welcome. And we are quite flexible in the mode of the collaborations that we could have in the future. So really welcome with open arms if you want to discuss with us. So fine.
Thank you. Okay. Well, if there is some answer as well from other participants in the Thai side, that will be perfect as well. The microphone is open for all of you.
Hi, I'm Marty from Golf.
Go ahead.
Okay, yes. So, on behalf of the company, we also are open to all considerations of opportunities. Just get in touch with us, and we will be happy to connect with you, as we've been doing already.
Yes. Some maybe also some comments from the IGAT as well on the electricity.
Thank you very much, ICAT. As we present today, we have many projects about the RE and also the EV, and we are open for the procurement. If you think which investment plan of ICAT are very interesting, you can contact us. We are very open, and also we have some part of ICAT that already co with the startup in Spain already. We call that Wallbox. We are the authorized dealer of a Wallbox. That is a wall charging of the EV. So that is one example that we have the pilot projects. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if there are many more questions here for the people present in Madrid. Is there any questions on the floor? If not, we are running out of time. I would ask Ambassador if you want to say something to close the seminar. Would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. First of all, I have to express my appreciation to all panelists, moderator, and also participants for being with us today. I hope that this seminar is like breaking the ice also for us to get to know each other more, to know who we are, what we do, where we are, and where we will go, and where we could cooperate, in which part that we can work together. So the last part, the first 3-4 parts, we are here to introduce you to get to know each other, to know what we are doing. But the last part is how we can cooperate. I think you have to help us to do this homework, because it depends on each companies and expertise and interest of each companies and each institutions. But our embassy is here ready to assist you if you need any further queries or assistance, or wish us to maybe arrange more direct one-to-one contacts with our Thai companies. We will be more than happy to help you on this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Well, the only job of a moderator is to end on time. We are 2 minutes late, so I think I did my job. But anyway, thank you very much. I just want to ask you a final thing. We would like to make, for the people present here in Madrid, a family picture, maintaining as far as we can the distance. And of course, to all of you, more 100 people that have been connected in Spain, in Thailand, and in other countries, thank you very much for attending this seminar on behalf of ASEMPEA and the Royal Thai Embassy in Madrid. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you very much. สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you.
ขอบคุณท่านวิทยากรท่านผู้เข้าร่วมการสัมมนาจากกรุงเทพจากประเทศไทยทุกท่านด้วยนะคะ
ค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
ขอบคุณครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
ครับ สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ